All right, let's dive right into this explainer. If you're studying for your Cambridge Information Technology 9626 AS and A-level exams, you already know the stakes are super high. But what if I told you that the difference between just sitting comfortably with a B and snagging that highly coveted A star often comes down to mastering one specific area? Today, we're unpacking topic 5.1. And look, we aren't just going to list out the pros and cons of encryption versus firewalls. We're going to look at how to structure your analysis exactly the way Cambridge examiners want to see it, scene by scene. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to hit the A-star difference, look at the method mark strategy, talk about mastering critical analysis, reveal some top examiner warnings, and finally, wrap it all up with a winning exam strategy recap. Let's get into it. Starting off with Section 1, the A-star difference, and the theoretical foundations behind it. So, to really crush this exam, we have to understand its theoretical architecture. The assessment objectives for Topic 5.1, they don't just test if you memorized a textbook. Not at all. They actually target three distinct cognitive domains: your knowledge and understanding, your application, and your analytical skills. Here's the secret. Examiners prioritize analytical depth way over superficial breadth. Simply brain dumping every fact you know about physical locks or two-factor authentication, yeah, that's not going to get you top marks unless you deeply analyze those facts within a very specific context. Now, what's really fascinating here is what principal examiner reports tell us about top students. They consistently do three specific things. First, they use highly precise definitions. Second, they show clear causal relationships. So, for example, explicitly stating that implementing encryption causes intercepted data to remain unreadable to hackers. It's cause and effect. And third, they integrate their answers with other syllabus areas. Honestly, making those cross-topic connections, it's an absolute game changer for your final grade.
All right, moving on to Section 2, the method mark strategy. This is our procedural framework.
Okay, so how you actually approach the question on exam day is literally everything. Enter the method mark strategy. This means marks are awarded for your analytical process, not just the final conclusion you reach. When you're tackling a question on the misuse of personal data, you absolutely need a rigorous process. Step 1, deconstruct the question so you know exactly what they're asking. Step 2, extract the relevant data. Step 3, select your analytical framework. Step 4, execute your answer with super clear notation. And Step 5, present your final response using the correct professional terminology. By strictly following these 5 sequential steps, you're taking a messy jumble of raw facts and transforming them into a perfectly structured, method-driven response. Examiners absolutely love to see it. This procedural framework is especially vital when it comes to data interpretation, which is a massive part of this syllabus. When you're given a scenario, say about a massive company data breach, you have to actively extract the information, then interpret the relationships. Like, was the breach caused by weak passwords, or was it a lack of proper access rights? From there, draw an evidence-based conclusion. You are never, ever just guessing. You're building a rock-solid, professional case based entirely on the data they gave you. Next up, Section 3, Mastering Critical Analysis, focusing on evaluation insights. Topic 5.1 is all about weighing the advantages and disadvantages of different methods. That means you're going to be doing a lot of comparative analysis. A true top-tier evaluation requires you to look at multiple methods and actively identify both the similarities and the differences between them. And you've got to link them seamlessly using comparative connectives, words like whereas or similarly. For instance, you could say, biometrics provide high security. However, they are significantly more expensive to implement than standard passwords. See what that does? It proves to the examiner that you're actively weighing the options against each other. And as you're making these comparisons, please remember this golden rule. Never just list facts. You have to actively use your supporting evidence to draw definitive conclusions about the relative importance of the methods you're comparing. So which method is actually better for preventing the misuse of personal data in this specific scenario, and why? The evidence always has to drive your conclusion. That brings us to Section 4. Let's look at some top examiner warnings and the classic mistakes you need to avoid. Look, even with a perfect methodology, things can sometimes go sideways under exam pressure. This is a direct warning pulled right from the principal examiner reports. The classic mistake is providing generic answers not specific to the question context. Seriously, if a question gives you a scenario about a hospital trying to protect highly sensitive patient data, and you just write a generic answer about passwords that could apply to, say, a random video game account, you are going to lose marks. Failing to link every single point back to the given scenario will instantly derail your grade, no matter how technically accurate your facts might be. The reports actually highlight 3 specific pitfalls students fall into. 1. Forgetting proper format. 2. Failing to check that format and presentation before moving on. And 3, like we just talked about, providing context-free, generic answers. But hey, the good news? These are 100% avoidable. Just remember to format your answers properly, take 10 extra seconds to check your presentation, and stay hyper-focused on the specific context of the prompt. Do that, and you instantly elevate your paper above the vast majority of candidates. Finally, Section 5, Winning Exam Strategy Recap. Let's build your final action plan. Before you even step foot in that exam hall, you need absolute confidence in your memory recall. So here's a brilliant hack straight from our sources. Actively build your own mnemonic device. Take the first letters of the critical vocabulary regarding personal data protection methods, the specific advantages and disadvantages you'll be evaluating, and create a custom phrase. For example, to remember core data protection methods, you can use PEA. P for passwords, E for encryption, and A for access rights. It's a simple trick, but it ensures you won't blank on the core terminology when the pressure is on. Let's do a quick recap of the ultimate examiner's playbook. Keep this checklist in your head every single time you sit down to write a response. First, prioritize analytical depth over just dumping everything you know. Second, trust the 5-step procedural framework to guide your data interpretation. Third, when analyzing, make sure you compare both sides by identifying similarities and differences. And finally, above all else, always anchor your answer to the specific scenario provided. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought. When you sit down to apply this framework to your practice papers for IT 9626, ask yourself, is your next answer going to be generic, or will it demonstrate the analytical depth those examiners are actually demanding? Are you truly analyzing the data, or are you just repeating it? Let the pursuit of that analytical depth guide your study sessions, and I promise you it'll guide you straight to that A-star. Keep practicing, keep analyzing, and good luck out there.